Sometimes it's not that you've lost your drive, it's that your focus has shifted. And when your focus scatters, progress slows. Tonight on the 30, we are going to be talking about refocus to rise as we conclude our series, Leaders in Motion. Thanks for joining us. This is the 30. Let's go. Well, hello again. Welcome to the 30. I want to thank you for being here on this episode. Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the 30. And this series, we're coming to the end of this series, Leaders in Motion. And I certainly want to thank you for being here. And let's see what we've covered. I'm going to cover that as we go through. But let's start and look at what we're going to be covering today, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a fantastic episode. And certainly, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sticking with us throughout the last 4 or 5 years. I think it was 5 years. So thank you so much. But tonight, we're going to be focusing on refocus on the rise. This is the finale of our series. If you look back, we started with comfort is the killer of leadership. Then we challenge excuses. We look at excuses don't build leaders, actions do. Then the next one, the third episode, we looked at if you are not moving, you are losing. And last week, or last episode, our previous episode, we looked at stop leading on empty. On this episode, we're going to pull it all together. We're going to talk about everything that we discussed over the past 4 weeks. This is where we're going to pull everything comes in focus, because focus matters. So let's set the stage. Refocus doesn't mean starting over. It simply means returning to your alignment, returning to where you once were. That's what refocusing is all about. It simply means making sure that your energy, your attention, and your purpose are all heading in the same direction. And that's what we're going to be talking about, refocusing on the rise. Because motion without direction isn't progress. It's just activity. I'll say that again. Motion without direction isn't progress. It's all activity. So we are going to do that. We're going to touch on that. And I want you, if you're watching this live, or even if you're watching this in replay, I want you to drop us a line, like this broadcast, share it with someone, or put your comments in the chat. We'll love to hear from you as we move forward. What are we going to be covering today or tonight for our final episode in this series? We're going to be covering three things. Number one, we'll talk about clarity. Clarity fuels elevation. Next, we're going to go into distraction drains momentum. And then the last thing that we're going to cover is refocus leaders inspire revival. So let's dive into it. At the end of it, towards the end of the program, of the episode, you heard me talk about this last week. I am going to give you some more information, talk even more about our upcoming Connect, which is an in-person event here in Rochester in the Monroe County area. So without further ado, let's move to it. As leaders, it's important for us to know that you can't rise higher than your clarity. Meaning your level of success, your growth or potential is directly limited on how clearly you understand your goals and your path forward. Every new level of leadership that you go in, every leadership promotion, every elevation demands a sharper focus, a greater clarity about your vision, your priorities, your purpose. Because clarity is the foundation for all meaningful action, folks. Without it, progress is limited and often stalled. So we need to understand what clarity is about, because clarity fuels our elevation. Clarity fuels our promotion as leaders. Simply stated, that's it. Clarity, without it, we are not going anywhere. So it's important to note that it doesn't happen or appear just like that. Clarity comes from when we take time to really focus on what matters. So we need to take time and pause and say, okay, what matters now? When you refocus, folks, the next step becomes obvious. So in order to refocus, we need clarity. We need to understand where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're going to get there. So as a result, we need to take a step back. We need to take a step back. We need to take what I call a timeout to really understand what is taking place. We're talking about refocusing to rise. That's our topic. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about is momentum. We're going to be focused on not having enough distractions. We are so distracted. We are probably a distracted community, a distracted generation. We have so many things going on. We're distracted by television. We're distracted by being online. We're distracted by social media. We're distracted just being distracted. Well, there's a famous quote by an author, John Eads, which says, leaders rarely fail from a lack of effort. They fail from divided attention. I'll say that again. He says, leaders rarely fail from a lack of effort. We fail from divided attention. General Colin Powell also said something very similar. He said, when everyone's mind is diluted or dulled or distracted, the leader must be doubly vigilant. So whenever we become distracted, whenever we are dulled by whatever we are focusing on, we as leaders, we must be doubly vigilant. We must double down. We must be even more focused in order to get the job done. Sometimes it's easy to get pulled toward what's urgent. It's easy sometimes to get distracted. It's easy to get focused on what's urgent as opposed to what's important. This week we were talking about in our class at the City of Rochester, cohort 12, and we were talking about time management and the importance of time management, the importance of focusing on what's important as opposed to what's nice to do. Sometimes, as even as leaders, as people, we want to focus on what's nice to do because it feels good, as opposed to focusing on what's important. We talked about the big rocks versus the small stones, right? And looking at what's priority, making out a priority list and focusing on the most important things for that day, for that week. Iron it out and look at it. We challenge those that were in the class to look at a day, map out one day, just one day, everything that you do for that day, and then start to map out now what's important, what's most important, and what's so maybe not so important, and focus on the most important things first. But sometimes we get caught up, we get pulled away. We think that what is urgent, we focus on that, right? Or sometimes we focus on, I like this because it brings me joy. It could be watching ESPN, Sports Center. It could be watching cricket or football. It could be doing something that we like, but is it the most important thing? Is it something that will get us from where we are to where we should be or where we're called to be? So we need to look at the things that are most important and do those first. Focus on those first, not the things that we generally like to do because it brings us joy. Because what happens here is this, right? Distraction drains our momentum. When we become distracted from the things that we should be doing, our momentum now is slowed. We're not accomplishing the things that we need to or we should be doing. So ask yourself, folks, what's one thing that deserves my focus today? What is one thing that deserves my focus right now? What is one thing that I must do? Not that I want to do, but what is one thing? And then you shift and focus on that one thing that deserves your focus. That shift restores our momentum. That one action restores our momentum, help us to go the way that we should be going at the speed that we should be taking. So I want you to look at that. That's a challenge for you. What is that one thing that deserves our focus today, tonight, or tomorrow? And do that. But also look at the one thing that we no longer need to do, or the one thing that we should not be doing, and make that mind shift. So it's important to note, once again, that our distraction drains our momentum. Now, when a leader regains focus, everything changes. I'll say that again. When you as a leader regain your focus, everything changes. You regain greater clarity, your communication improves, your team becomes more effective and productive, culture comes alive once again. Your focus now becomes you and your team's revival. So we need to shift. We need now to focus on what is important. We need to regain our focus because refocused leaders inspire revival both in ourselves and others around us, whether it's your team, whether it's your organization. But we need to understand that we need to take time out to regain our focus, to focus on what's important, not what we think is important. So, here's another challenge for you. I want you to look at yourself. I want you to have a personal time of reflection. And I want you to look at what is important to you. What are some of your leadership needs or some of your areas in your leadership journey that needs refocusing? Can you believe that we are close? It's unbelievable. We are close to November 1st. We're close to ending out the year. So it's incumbent upon you. If you want to end the year strong, if you want to accomplish the goals that you set forth in January of this year, it's incumbent upon you now to refocus as leaders, as a leader, so that you can finish strong, not only finish for you personally or professionally, but also for your team. So that's my challenge to you. Take time out, some personal time, some time of reflection, and look and see what areas or what area where you need to really refocus, where you need to have that revival within yourself and your team. A revival of refocusing so that you can finish strong, so that you can accomplish the things that you have set forth to accomplish. Speaking of refocusing, and I told you this, I told you that we're going to be talking about our leaders and entrepreneurs connect, because this is going to give you an opportunity to refocus, because it's going to give you an opportunity to come together with other leaders and professionals and entrepreneurs of all areas, all market segments, profit, non-for-profit, corporate, government, education, ministry, wherever you are. If you are in the Rochester, Monroe County area, this is New York, I invite you to join us for our Leaders and Entrepreneur Connect. And we're going to be doing that on Tuesday, October 28th, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we're going to get together and we are going to, this is not your ordinary networking, but it's a time for you as leaders and professionals and entrepreneurs, small business owners, to come together and have some conversation, meet each other, come together as a community. So that's what we want to do. That is our mission. That is our purpose for it. You can go out to any of my personal social media channels or the Jackman group, and you will find information there. I will also be posting the information, the link to register, because you have to register. There's a registration. Admission is free. There's no cost to it. But what we ask is that you register so that we know how many people are coming. And it's going to be at a new spot. And it's the Eden Coffee and Company, Eden Coffee and Co. So you can check that out. But I I invite you to join us so that you can refocus. You can look at what's important. You can talk to others. You can discuss where you are. A time of coming together, community, a time of coming together for professionals and business owners and entrepreneurs and leaders. So I invite you to join us. Space is limited. And I mean that. Space is limited because we're having it in a location, brand new location, but we're having it as a smaller place. So space is limited. It is designed to help leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself refocus, reconnect, and reignite for your leadership journey as we push towards the end of the year. So look for more details. I'm going to drop the link into this description of this episode, and we're also going to be talking about it next week. All right. So as we wrap up our series of Leaders in Motion, I want to thank you for joining us on this journey, 5 weeks, 5 episodes. And here's, as I leave you, I'm going to leave you with some takeaways. You don't rise by doing more. You rise by focusing better. I'll say that again. As a leader, you don't rise by doing more. You rise by focusing better. When you refocus your attention on what matters most, everything around you begins to rise too. So to you, the leader, to every leader that is watching or listening, I challenge you to refocus. Focus on the things that are important. Focus on the things that matters most. And everything around you will begin to rise. So I want to thank you once again for this 5-episode journey. Your engagement, all of your comments, your commitment to your development, to your growth. Thank you for your commitment for viewing the 30. This is a very special series. If you miss this series, you can always go back to our channel, whether it's on LinkedIn or whether it's on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The 30 with Patrick. And while you're there, make sure you drop us a like. Make sure that you like our channel. Make sure you drop us a comment. And stay tuned for what's coming next, because we have some great things coming. We have some interviews lined up with leaders. And I know that you will like it. So stay tuned for the 30. And don't forget, October 28th, your chance to connect in person at our Leaders and Entrepreneurs Connect. Until next time, folks, keep leading, keep growing, and keep making an impact. May God bless you and your family. Be safe. We'll see you down the road.